Hello and welcome. This is Nationwide, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. My name is Justin Bemunyi. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his wife Oluremi was received by President Emmanuel Macron and wife Brigitte at the French Military Museum in Hotel National des Invalides in Paris. The president also inspected a guard of honor. And the 4 tax reform bills have scaled second reading at the Senate. The proposed tax-related legislations are the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, the Joint Revenue Board of Nigeria Establishment Bill, and Nigeria Tax Bill. Leading debate on the general principles, Senate Leader Okpeyemi Bamidele says the proposed bills seek uniformity and efficiency in tax system in Nigeria.
These bills aim to simplify the tax landscape, reduce the burden on small business, and streamline how taxes are collected.
Bills have been referred to the Senate Committee on Finance for further legislative action, part of which is the engagement of stakeholders at a public hearing for inputs and observations. In the meantime, the House of Representatives has confirmed the appointment of Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede as the substantive Chief of Army Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Lieutenant General Oluyede's confirmation by the House follows his screening by an ad hoc committee which submitted its report that was ratified at the Committee of the Whole. Details of this report will come in our subsequent bulletin. Now, the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC says it will henceforth prosecute any driver and fleet operator that is involved in fatal road crash. Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Sheikh Mohammed declared this at the 2024 Annual Safety Managers Retreat for Fleet Operators in Abuja. Oyemi Ajayi has details.
It has been reported that road traffic crashes involving fleet operators or caused by them are on the high side, especially the high level of death and degrees of injuries usually involved. Now, to set the record straight, the Federal Road Safety Corps says no stone will be left unturned in reducing this menace in line with the 5% yearly reduction of road crashes in the country. Taking the bull by the horn, headlong, the Corps Marshal Sheikh Mohammed hinted the Corps is embarking on style operations against recklessness of these fleet operators.
So what we intend to do is to completely seize their license for some years, so that if they correct and get back to the discipline type that we require, then we can let them have their license back again.
The problem of the environment are the drivers who want to rush it quickly and make double money.
Whatever we are going to do here or is going to be discussed here is going to be of benefit not only to the road users but for everybody in the country.
The stakeholders, however, commended the Federal Road Safety Corps for its efforts in ridding the roads of crashes, while reiterating commitments towards ensuring better and safe movement on the highways, especially during the Ember months. Oyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Now, pursuant to the renewed hope initiative of the federal government and towards people's safety this festive season, the federal government the Federal Road Maintenance Agency has rehabilitated the deplorable segment of Okaki-Kolo Road in Yenegua local government area of Bayelsa State. Doris Akumoye, who visited the road, has details.
The road condition of Okaki-Kolo was in deplorable condition, with major chunk of the road caving in. However, the intervention by Federal Road Maintenance Agency FEMA has given the road a facelift.
We are happy FEMA came. FEMA remembered this location to make the whole place look more beautiful, neat, and appealing to the eyes.
Affected, or it caused many accidents there. It affected everything. But now we are happy that they amend the road.
The title of the job we are carrying out now is Rehabilitation of Yenegwe or Kaki Kolo Road in Bayelsa State. And the scope entails reinstatement of washouts, reinstatement of shoulders, pavement strengthening, patching of potholes along the stretch of the road.
Work is presently ongoing in other areas in the state, which is posing as a threat to motorists and other road users. FEMA, however, promised to live up to its mandate of safer roads across board. In Yenagoa, Doris Akomoye, NTA News.
As the festive season fast approaches, commuters plying the Shagamu-Ijebu-Ode Expressway are appealing to the federal government and relevant authorities to expedite action on the rehabilitation of the road to make it more convenient for travel. Lekon Agbonde has an update on the present condition of the road.
The 492 kilometers dual carriage Shagamu-Ijebu-Ode Orebini Expressway is one of the major roads with significant importance in Nigeria after much outcry on the deplorable condition of some portions of the road. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, inspected the road and promised prompt action. Matching words with actions, contractors were mobilized, moved to site, and carried out palliative work on the Shagamu section of the road. However, much is still left to be done as the Ijebu-Ode axis down to Ijebu-Itele part of the road still need urgent attention.
Hectic, and it is troublesome. I think the best thing is for the government to take care of the road for us, please. We are suffering so much on this road.
The only time we can manage it is during the day. At night like this, there are death traps. So we employ our government to, even if not proper renovation, if it's palliatives, at least it will stop endangering people's life.
In the coming days, the volume of traffic on the road will increase due to the festive season. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
We now take you to Lagos, where Higino is standing by with more reports.
Bam, and welcome to Lagos. Every ivory tower is expected to be a secluded environment where people go to disconnect from the rest of the world for intellectual pursuit, but decline in providing prerequisite that ensures students study in conducive and convenient learning environment has continuously raised concerns. Adeola Komiakere tells us more.
Value and relevance of tertiary institutions draw on the capacity of effectiveness in terms of research, human resource development, and solutions to existing societal challenges. However, the perceived lack of transparency, funding, research grants, outdated and inadequate learning materials, student and staff-related issues, external pressures, as well as technological and educational evolution have led to a decline in the desired output from tertiary institutions.
Are we still looking at the old order where you talk about chalk and blackboard, or we look at where you use technology to deliver the lecture? What kind of, what's the state of the library? Then does the student have access to books?
Dr. Marua Abu says, with numerous impediments facing operation of tertiary institutions, some are engaging the private sector to put things in the right perspective.
What we really need is funding. Government will set a committee, not just sending money to universities. If that money is being sent, there should be a committee that will monitor it, how that money is being spent. And it's affecting so many things here.
Some students speak on their perception about the running of tertiary institutions and how it affects the academics.
Not all schools has actually been able to divert digitally to digital learning, because they still most lecturers still adopt this traditional method of teaching. You come to a classroom, you're using marker to teach a class of about 500 students.
The efficiency and ambition of the Vice Chancellor, respondents say, will in effect bring forth better output of results and students who will become employable graduates that can compete both in local and international markets. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakere, NTA News.
Away from education now, some critical areas of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Ikoyi, Lagos, have been destroyed by an inferno as a result of electrical fault from the studio area on Wednesday evening. Lynn Leneke reports that the fire has since been put out and the management is intensifying efforts to resume operations immediately.
Staff and management of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, are still counting their losses as a result of fire outbreak which occurred Wednesday evening. At the time NTA crew arrived at the station, fire service officials were still on ground to ensure that the fire is put out totally.
So we try to ensure that it doesn't extend to other parts of the building. The reason why we find it difficult to contain it is because the place is padded, so we find it very, very difficult. They have a lot of fire extinguishers on ground, and they make use of those fire extinguishers, which are regarded as first aid firefighting equipment. To their best of ability, they tried.
Management of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria is determined to ensure that the station resumes operations soon, despite the huge destruction.
We'll look around and see which of the areas that we can use for operations immediately. At least between now and Saturday, I have the trust that we'll be back at least one of the stations.
The building housing the control rooms, music studios and other critical assets suffered significant damage. Comfort Abai, an eyewitness, shared her experience.
I just saw my producer on duty run out of the studio screaming fire, fire. So it was a kind of technical fault. That was what I discovered later, that's a technical fault from the air conditioner.
The fire has since been curtailed and some valuables are salvaged during the recovery operations. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue after this break.
Welcome to Benin. The importance of the National Identity Project and the significance of the national anthem are top on the agenda of a one-day sensitization campaign organized by the National Orientation Agency. The program, which is specifically targeted at ex-militant, is aiming to foster patriotism, unity, and a sense of belonging amongst them. Joy Obiaziko reports that the campaign was conducted in Warri South local government area of Delta State.
Speaking at the event, the Director General of NOA, Malam Lare Issa Oniyu, represented by Mohamed Wasil, delivered a speech on behalf of the DG, stating the agency's commitment to inclusive agreement.
The National Value Charter is an initiative by National Orientation Agency, NOAA, aimed at fostering a strong value system in Nigeria. It focuses on two main goals: the right and responsibility. The charter ensures that all Nigerians are aware of their right and...
The NOA Delta State Director gave her welcome address.
We assure you that the present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will ensure that our environment that has been greatly affected adversely by the exploration of oil will be annexed to enable the occupants of these communities have a sense of belonging.
Others took turns to emphasize the need for every Nigerian to embrace the values of the national identity and the symbolism embedded in the national anthem. They described the campaign as a step towards integrating ex-militants into the society and promoting active membership. Participants expressed gratitude for the initiative.
The new national anthem, actually, from today, some of us, we have been sensitized. From today, some of us will be able to at least...
The event also featured panels of discussion, presentation of awards. The NOA reaffirms its commitment to continuous outreach and education to promote national unity. In Asaba, Joy Obiaziko, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Orientation Agency is sensitizing and educating residents of Ondo State on the measures against the spread of Lassa fever. The agency emphasized the importance of maintaining clean environment and promoting personal hygiene, particularly during the dry season, when the disease is more prevalent. Tony Battery reports.
Lassa fever, a viral hemorrhagic illness, is transmitted through contact with infected humans or rats carrying the Lassa virus. According to epidemiological data from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, 68% of confirmed cases have been reported from hotspot states, including Ondo, Edo, Bauchi, Taraba, Benue, Ebonyi, and Kogi, with significant fatalities recorded. It is against this backdrop that the National Orientation Agency, in collaboration with other stakeholders, held a town hall meeting in Owo to educate residents on the risk, prevention, and control measures necessary to combat the spread of Lassa fever.
To also block all holes in our houses to prevent rats from finding their ways into our houses. We should also discourage bush running.
Other stakeholders highlighted that while there is no vaccine yet, Lassa fever is preventable. They emphasized the importance of personal responsibility through good hygienic practices, storing food in rodent-proof containers, and avoiding contact with infected individuals.
Avoid self-medication to ensure proper diagnosis and early treatment. It's not government that will do everything. We can achieve a lot through our communal efforts.
The NOA also organized a roadshow to raise further awareness, where residents were informed that Lassa fever symptoms often resemble malaria, but stressed that early detection and treatment significantly improve survival rates. In Akure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from this zone for now. It's back to Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Well, thank you so much, Obehi. Now, the House of Representatives has confirmed the appointment of Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede as substantive Chief of Army Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Lieutenant General Oluyede's confirmation by the House follows his screening by an ad hoc committee which submitted its report that was ratified at the Committee of the Whole.
We questioned him on various issues, which included interagency synergy, civilian-military relationships. Our observation, sir, is that General Olatubosun Oluyede is fit and proper and gave a very good account of himself.
And I approve the only recommendation therein that Lieutenant General Olatubosun Oluyede be confirmed as the Chief of Army Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
To the confirmation of the Chief of Army Staff by the House of Representatives, lawmakers engaged in a closed-door session which lasted more than 2 hours to deliberate on the 4 tax reform bills transmitted to the House by President Bola Tinubu.
The agreement that we had in that section was to continue our conversation. So this conversation is going to continue on Tuesday, from now to Tuesday, when we will have a special section where we'll invite these resource persons to be here in the House to engage us. Thereafter, we'll decide which way to go. This is to be able to make sure that it is well documented that we did our consultation in the form of executive section, and we are continuing that conversation till next week, Tuesday.
National Assembly correspondent reports that the tax reform bills are yet to be listed for second reading on the floor of the House. Now, Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State has called on traditional leaders in the country to properly sensitize Nigerians on importance of vaccination against all kinds of child killer diseases. The governor was speaking against the backdrop of recorded successes in the immunization exercises organized under the Fathers for Good initiative of the UNICEF. Awal Abdullahi reports.
This coming together of traditional and religious leaders is based on the need for parents
to ensure that their children are fully vaccinated against all child killer diseases.
This initiative has reached 3,000 of those children that has never been reached before. So those 3,000 children would have died of any preventable disease that we can prevent. But now, alhamdulillah, they have been reached and they will be fully vaccinated.
Governor Bala Mohammed stressed the need for all hands to be on deck in providing more awareness of the immunization in Nigeria.
The occasion is specifically organized to honor men who have made significant contributions to the improvement of the child health in the state by mobilizing their communities to ensure that no child is left unimmunized.
Meanwhile, the governor has received a delegation from the Association of Doctors Without Borders with assurance that his administration remains supportive to humanitarian services, especially those focusing on the grassroots. In Bauchi, Awwal Abdullahi, NTA News.
Now, a cross-section of Port Harcourt residents are delighted over the resumption of operations at the Port Harcourt refinery after several years of dormancy. Kingsley Amajiri reports that the people are optimistic that operations at the refinery will stimulate competition in the industry.
After several attempts to commence operation at the Port Harcourt refinery, the news of trucks loading petroleum products from the facility came to many as a pleasant surprise.
Many other presidents have come and gone and could not revive it.
At least we will be saved by the cost of freighting, clearing, storage, and all of the things that is associated with imports. And the dollar component will not be there. If all that is taken out, everybody expects that the fuel price should drop.
We, members of Independent Marketers Association, we are very happy with this new development that the Port Harcourt refinery has started, loading has come back on stream, for the benefit, let it be for the benefit of Nigerians.
Observers want the government to sustain its promise of making the other refineries in the country to come on board. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Now let's join Kingsley Amajiri, who is on ground at Ilesa in Eleme local government area, as he brings us more details. Kingsley, thank you so much. How is that place? Kingsley, what is the mood of the people of Eleme over the reactivation of Port Harcourt refinery?
Ben, I will tell you, is excitement everywhere, from the community leadership to the business community here in Eleme local government area. Everyone is happy with the news of the reactivation of the Port Harcourt refinery. For those doing business and also those who provide ancillary services to the refinery axis, everyone is happy, given that it has been a period of low activity over these years, and coming at a time that the nation is passing through critical challenges. Many residents here believe that this will bring succor to their businesses and also add value to helping in rejigging the local economy. Of course, we spoke to some of those doing business here. Their expectation beyond the news that have gone on is that the authorities sustain the tempo and also increase the supply chain. For those who are also, we spoke with the leadership of Ipman and Petran, who are those also who do business directly with the refinery. They hope that the authorities also help supply petroleum products, and overall, the bottom line, many believe that when the supply increases, it will also help to bring down the cost on transportation, and that an impact positively on the economy.
Sure, Kingsley, for that update and details. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the National Population Commission, NPC, and Federal Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Katsina State Government, has launched A groundbreaking study to investigate the causes of maternal and child mortality in Katsina State. The verbal and social autopsy VASA study aims to shed light on the underlying factors contributing to these deaths, with the goal of ensuring health sector interventions to reduce maternal and child mortality rates in the state. Awal Haleru reports.
The collaborative efforts aims to investigate the causes of death among children under 5 years and mothers in communities across Katsina State. Federal Commissioner, National Population Commission, Katsina State, Bala Almubanye, maintains that the study's findings will inform policies and interventions to reduce maternal and child mortality rates in the state.
In sharing your experiences and welcoming our data collection teams, you are contributing directly to a project aimed at preventing unnecessary losses in our communities and securing a healthier future for our families.
By conducting this study, the National Population Commission and its partners aim to make a significant impact on the lives of mothers and children in Katsina State and beyond. Awal Haleru, NTA News.
Now, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, staged a sensitization and awareness walk to highlight the impact of gender-based violence in society. Now, this event is part of the activities commemorating the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Amina Baba Suleiman reports that NAPTIP is also collaborating with the German government to combat human trafficking.
This is a sensitization work organized by the management and staff of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, to commemorate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The aim is to raise awareness about relevant government laws against gender-based violence and to encourage victims to speak up. The campaign commenced at the Federal Ministry of Justice and concluded at the Unity Fountain, where NAPTIP's Director General, Binta Adamu Bello, highlighted the urgent need for collective action to combat gender-based violence.
We believe that by coming together in solidarity, we can amplify our voices and drive home the message of our objective. Violence against persons is unacceptable and must be eradicated.
In the meantime, NAPTIP is working with the German Embassy in Nigeria to combat the menace of human trafficking. The German Embassy has renovated a training resource center and handed it over to NAPTIP.
NAPTIP, on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, expressed the willingness of the two nations to continue to work together in addressing the negative impact of trafficking in persons in our countries.
Your dedication to protecting the most vulnerable members of our society, your relentless efforts to dismantle trafficking networks are commendable. The fight against human trafficking requires unwavering commitment, and I commend each of you for your courage and resilience.
Director General of NAPTIP, Binta Adamu Bello, emphasized the necessity of training and collaboration among stakeholders to effectively combat human trafficking. In Abuja, Amina Baba Suleiman, NTA News.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, has expressed confidence in the 10th Assembly to prioritize laws relating to the safety and welfare of Nigerian women. The minister stated these at the National Assembly complex when she led a delegation of Nigerian women to interface with the legislators as part of an event to mark the 16 days activism to end gender-based violence. Ngozi Technical reports.
As part of awareness campaign to sensitize the public to take a stand against all sorts of violence against women and children, Nigerian women, led by the Minister of Women Affairs, embarked on a road walk. With different inscriptions, the women marched to the National Assembly and they were received by the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, who assured them of adequate partnership in empowerment and other legislative issues. With excitement, the women said their hope is bright with the 10th Assembly.
All are aware of all the bills they have been pushing for and the ones that they have enacted, that they have signed into law. And you heard the Speaker, he said it loud and clear that the legislative will work with all arms of government, the executive and the judiciary, to ensure that women are safe.
We cannot fight for the women without legal backing. So we need the support of National Assembly.
In continuation of the 16 days of activism, the Ministry of Women Affairs was lit with orange to signify hope for a safe world. Ngodi Technical, NTA News.
Well, I'll take you to Maiduguri, where Ladidi is standing by with more stories.
Thank you, Justin, and welcome to Maiduguri. The World Health Organization, WHO, has reiterated its commitments toward enhancing humanitarian health emergency response, strengthening health system resilience and preparedness, especially in conflict-affected communities in the Northeast. The country representative in Nigeria, Dr. Walter Kasadi, stated this at the 14th Joint Operation Review, JOR, held in Maiduguri, Borno State. Pauline Kujafan has details.
The 14th Joint Operations Review, JOR, in Northeast Nigeria highlight WHO's impactful interventions, including healthcare delivery, disease surveillance, and vaccination campaigns for the benefit of millions of people in the region, with key priorities to include addressing health challenges in conflict-affected areas, enhancing emergency response, and fostering collaboration to build a resilient healthcare system for vulnerable populations. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the WHO country representative in Nigeria, Dr. Walter Kazadi Molumbo, said the organization has demonstrated a robust commitment to supporting states in responding to health emergencies, including the provision of essential medical countermeasures, logistics support, and deployment of technical expertise, among others.
If we just focus on one aspect of humanitarian response or outbreak response, we may forget the other essential, the fundamentals.
The three-day joint operational review is expected to, among other things, enhance humanitarian health emergency response, focusing on identifying lessons learned, challenges, as well as ensuring best practices with expectancy outcome to include enhanced health emergency preparedness, setting the stage for strategic discussions with partners to support the Ministry of Health and ultimately strengthen health systems in Northeast Nigeria. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Critical stakeholders and policymakers have underscored the devastating impact of substance abuse on national security and economic stability across West African community. The discussion were made during the 45th International Conference of the West African Society for Pharmacological Health in Maiduguri. Murjana Hassan reports.
The 45th International Conference of the West African Society for Pharmacology, with the theme Substance Abuse and Insecurity in West African Sub-region, seeks to address prevalence of drug abuse among youth and its challenges to public health, economic stability, and social cohesion. Borno State Governor Professor Bagana Umar Zulum, represented by the State Commissioner of Health Professor Baba Malam Gana, emphasized the need for collective expertise, advocating for policies that prioritize the health sector as well as safety and prosperity of communities.
This issue transcends borders and affects our society at multiple levels.
Chairman of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, who was the guest speaker while speaking virtually, challenged professionals and policymakers to come up with sustainable solutions to tackle the menace.
And ensure that safe and effective medications are accessible, while also combating illicit drug use and trafficking.
Acting President, West African Society for Pharmacology, Professor Mohammed Garba Magaji, and representative of Vice Chancellor, University of Maiduguri, Professor Mohammed Laminu Mele, assured of strategies that will yield positive results and ignite initiatives for workable solutions against drug abuse, and commended Borno State Governor for being supportive.
We believe the community is addressing policy to do with drug distribution.
A communique was issued at the end of the conference, which focused on how best to eliminate substance abuse and insecurity in Nigeria, hoping that the program would drive policies that would change pharmaceuticals and manufacturing. In Maiduguri, Murjana Hassan, NTA News.
Those are the trendy stories from the home of peace. Nationwide continues in Port Harcourt after this time out. Stay with us.
Harcourt.
The River State government has flagged off activities for the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration with the Emblem Appeal Fund lunch in Government House, Port Harcourt. Osinachi Samuel reports that Governor Siminalayi Fubara, through his donation, promised improved welfare for legionnaires and families of fallen heroes.
That was the official inauguration of the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day Emblem Appeal Fund lunch. Governor Siminalayi Fubara, while commending the armed forces for their role in safeguarding the nation from external aggression, promises better welfare for the widows and dependents of the fallen heroes.
We're here to honor dedication, to commend the determination. But what we're doing is not different from what these fallen heroes did for our country. We're determined to make sure that the interests of the state should be the first thing wherever.
Chairman of the organizing committee, Tami Danagogo, acknowledged the commitment of the state government towards ameliorating the plight of families of the fallen heroes while making life better for the veterans.
I call on all of us to support His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, to give hope to the hopeless veterans and their families.
May I, on behalf of the members of the veterans community in Rivers State, thank you and the government of Rivers State immensely for the immeasurable support since you assumed office as the executive governor of Rivers State.
High point of the event was the launch of the appeal fund by Governor Fubara and decoration of donors. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
Despite the directive by the Central Bank of Nigeria to commercial banks mandating them to make accessibility to cash easy for their teeming customers through the ATM machines, only a few players appear to have complied with this professional practice. Joy Uzo, who monitored the situation in Port Harcourt, brings us details.
There were times when it was very easy for a customer to walk into an ATM machine and with a simple click of the buttons, withdraw as much cash as he or she needs. But the reverse seemed to be the case.
You don't get money in the ATMs because before you go, they tell there is no money, but those persons who run POS, they get into the bank and they get money.
The directive by the Central Bank of Nigeria to financial institutions to get their ATMs cash loaded at all times is described as a welcomed development. However, respondents across markets and business hubs within Port Harcourt metropolis note that until effective monitoring and sanctions are applied, compliance may be a huge challenge as most banks either load minimal amount or none at all, thereby exposing citizens to challenging access to cash, leaving them at the mercy of POS operators who place exorbitant charges on cash withdrawal.
Whenever you go to ATM, you can't access cash except you use POS people.
What is the use of putting beautiful ATM machine without cash in it? It's useless.
Even we said they don't give us cash. So we do buy cash from the traders before we can be able to do our business.
The GRA areas in Port Harcourt appear to be the only destination where bank ATMs are known to dispense cash at any given time of the day, as attested to by customers.
Anytime I come here, I always get cash meat.
Well, this is the popular Olu Obasanjo Road, a hub for banking transactions. And interaction with customers indicates that though there is a handful of ATM machines located along this road, yet access to cash is still a major challenge. For them, halting cash scarcity will entail going beyond issuance of directives to penalizing defaulting banks, which will in turn serve as deterrent to others. In Port Harcourt, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
And as our contribution from Port Harcourt is back to Abuja for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you so much, Diba Bari. Thank you so much. Now, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NTA, through its Computer Emergency Readiness Response Team, warns of cyber criminals exploiting the popular music streaming platform, Spotify, to promote game hacks, pirated software and spam links, exposing users to potential cyber threats such as phishing attacks and malware that compromise devices, resulting in the loss of personal and financial data. Harmful promotions embedded in playlist titles and podcast descriptions boost visibility of malicious websites through Spotify's web player search results. To avoid these risks, internet users are urged to avoid interacting with playlists or podcasts with suspicious text or links in descriptions, as well as refrain from clicking on unknown or unverified links and ensure use of updated Spotify app. In addition, a new ransomware codenamed Ymir has been identified as targeting corporate networks, making it difficult for traditional antivirus programs to detect and block. Cybercriminals demand ransoms in cryptocurrency to restore compromised systems. To mitigate the risks, organizations are advised to deploy advanced endpoint detection and response EDR solutions, regularly update all systems, softwares, and establish a robust data backup strategy. A new strategy to revitalize and reposition Nigeria's education has been unveiled by the Minister of Education, Olatunji Alausa, and that of State, Suwaiba Ahmed. Christiana Akande reports that the Education Sector Renewal Initiative 2024 to 2027 aims to align the nation's education system with global best practices.
That a large percentage of Nigeria's 60 million children aged 5 to 14 are out of school. Addressing development partners, the Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, emphasizes that these critical challenges are at the core of the new initiative.
We've looked at what all the development partners have done. We also, as a government, we have to take responsibility. We have to mobilize our investment and work with our development partners as well.
The Education Sector Renewal Initiative is designed to create a sustainable framework for enhancing access, equity, quality, and efficiency in education delivery across the country.
We also plan to implement or support the government through a series of programs we call HOPE. There are three HOPEs: HOPE Governance, HOPE Primary Healthcare, and HOPE Education.
Our work is aimed on mobilizing education to transform lives and guided by the mission to build peace and eradicate poverty and drive sustainable development.
This groundbreaking initiative, championed by the Federal Ministry of Education, is positioned as a key component in achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, which focuses on inclusive and quality education for all.
Team Kwara has won the 64th Independence Anniversary of President's Inter-Basic Schools Debate Championship. Olayinka Ojo reports that the event was organized by the President's Schools Debate Nigeria in Abuja.
12 states participated in the debate championship to commemorate Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary.
This championship will help us in selecting other teams that will participate in the international debate competitions next year.
After 2 days of proposition and opposition by the contingents on issues around girl-child education, Team Kwara and Team Benue emerged as finalists.
In order to reduce numbers of out-of-school children in our country, inadequate funding and poor policy implementation have left over 10 million out-of-school children in Nigeria.
At the end of the competition, Team Kwara won the Kinley contest.
Debate should be included in school extracurricular activities.
For the best 3 states, Kwara, Benue, and Katsina, they'll be representing Nigeria at the next international competitions.
We have different invitations from many countries. The winners of today's program, they are going to Turkey.
The event was also used to present awards to states that are blazing the trail on girl-child education. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
And next is Sports Update.
Nigeria's impressive performance at the ongoing African Military Games in Abuja is evident
as they secured an impressive total of 17 medals in the judo finals. George Inyong won a gold medal in the men's 60 kg category, while Josephine Ijimafe and Tina Ozeze both claimed golds in the women's 52 kg and 70 kg events respectively. Meanwhile, effective collaboration among key stakeholders in sports has been recognized as a reliable approach to achieving the necessary reforms in the sector under the current administration. This can be accomplished through gender mainstreaming and encouraging participation not only as athletes but also by placing qualified women in leadership roles within sports. This topic was discussed during a courtesy visit by the Association of Nigerian Women in Sports, NAWIS, to the Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olopade.
The importance, the value that is brought to the table every time a member of NAWIS is representing a federation is always obvious. It is always result-oriented.
To feel our presence and to ensure that our name is in that act, and that because of the progress women have made in Nigeria.
In kickboxing, Nigeria Armed Forces members Bekibo Tamuno, 67 kg, James Charles, 86 kg, and Tangod Abba, plus 91 kg, triumphed over their South African opponents, securing gold medals. In a bid to encourage involvement among young people, develop upcoming talent and boost the sports industry within the region, the Cross River State government is giving priority to hosting major sporting competitions that aim to advance sports tourism locally and nationally. This commitment was revealed at the commencement of the Abokin Falls Green Marathon in Ikom Local Government Area Senatorial District, when Fort Matthias clinched the top spot in the 42-kilometer race, completing it in 2 hours, 47 minutes, 33 seconds. With sports update, Bright Ebochu, NTA News.
Now, born out of the need for a constructed national conversation on issues of drug abuse and its harmful effects, the African Youth Initiative on Crime Prevention has marked its 10th National Youth Summit on Drug and Substance Abuse Prevention. Deborah Balagbobo reports that the summit, with the theme Empowering the Youth with a Drug-Free Future, created a platform for cross-cultural exchange and sharing of ideas.
Is above. No to drugs. This is the key. That the two Siamese twins, cultism and drug abuse, need to be stamped out of this country.
A nation focuses on its youth. It is building the future.
Nigeria, according to the UN reports, indicates that 14.3 million indulge in drug and substance abuse.
We are meant to fix our problem. That is the essence of this conference. Young people, Nigerians, are meant to fix Nigerian problem. And that is why some of us are very, very happy with the NDLA chairman and even the Director General of the Bureau of Public Service Reforms.
There is a lot of benefits for Nigeria in a gathering like this. Let the good people also gather and say that we are here. We don't do it.
At the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, we recognize that no single entity can solve this issue alone. Thus, the personal interests have shown and the interests and commitment of our Bureau to work with this organization to make sure that our youth get...
This is where Nationwide ends. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Bemu. You do have a good evening.